Hey guys, welcome to the next part of our video where we're going to be talking about how to add files. So, hey, this is going to be a super big portion. And just real quick, if you're loving this and enjoying it and you're not just watching this because you're a new media person on our team at my church, feel free to subscribe. I'll be putting different things like this on here periodically. If you're watching the first video, you probably noticed that I created an instrument track, and then I've just named it Pro Presenter as well. There's a reason for that. We're going to be using that track to drive Pro Presenter, and it's done on a MIDI track, and we'll dive more to that here in a bit. But right now, we're going to go into actually like creating the audio files and getting them in. And so to do this, what we're going to do is we're actually going to build this using one of the layout methods that we like to do, which is basically where each song is packed into its own folder, as opposed to having them just run into the same track. Although I generally prefer myself to have them all running on the same tracks and keep it clean. So we might do that instead. But anyways, this is just the gist. When you open up the browser here, you can go to Files, and then wherever you keep your tracks at. So for me, I keep them on a physical drive that has pretty much everything to do, like anything and everything that is involved with my church is on this drive. So basically, I've got all the tracks here. And let's take a look at the first song and get crack-a-lackin' here on dragging these in. So let's see. First song is going to be Still Rolling Stones. Now, why I like Studio One over Ableton for this. So on Ableton, when you drag all these files in, unless you drag them in physically one by one, they will be out of order. Then when I say out of order is the preference order that I like, and the color coding that I like. You have to color code everything in Ableton twice, which is why I'm not really a huge particular fan of it. But in this, I could drag them in like this, but I don't want to do that. There's a better way to do this. So check this out. I'm going to just click these in order that I like while holding control. So I've got the control key in, and basically what I'm going to be doing is I'm just going to go down the order. So I like click, then I like the guide, drums, loop 1, loop 2, synth effects generally speaking. Then I'll go for my bass instruments. So there's bass, and then I like my guitars. So I'm going to get my acoustic guitar, the electric guitar. That's it. All right, let's go ahead and move into synthesizers or keyboards and things like that. So let's see here. And then lastly, we'll get the BGVs. Now that looks the same as when I just highlighted them all, but watch this. When I drag them all in, that will be the order that they're in. So I only have to do that one time, and then the order is correct. Now, to keep them organized, I'm going to color code them the way that we do at my church. So all of our synth stuff or synth effects and drums and stuff like that always are red. Bass is always some sort of brownish color, so we'll keep that way. Guitars, we always do like a blue color. Keyboards is always a green. Usually I use like this just vibrant green. And then our BGVs are always yellow. So you can see right there, one of the things that I like about it is that the tracks and the events themselves, so here you have your tracks over here and then your events over here, they actually color code together. So they harmoniously are the same as opposed, and I can do this in Ableton, but this takes 2 processes. I have to do all that twice. Now, the next thing that we're going to need to do is basically just, we can pack it to a folder if we want, or this is kind of where the splitting of the roads happens here, because some people like to have all of the songs click tracks on this one lane for the click. And if you like to do that, then I'll show you right now what to do. So essentially, let me take a look here, see what our second song is going to be. I Can't Believe. Okay. So we're going to go to the files for I Can't Believe. Let's see. There it is. And I'm going to go to the multi-tracks here. And all I have to do is this. I just have to literally drag these just like that. That's it. They're automatically going to color code correct. They're automatically going to be exactly what you want. And generally speaking, this is the preferred way that I actually like to do it, because I only like to have, it gives me a master volume of that track. And with Studio One, let me show you, if I have to adjust individual things, I actually don't need to open the project editor window, which I can do by double clicking or hitting F2. I don't actually do this in Studio One. I actually just, you see when I clicked on it, this little square that showed up right here, I just literally take this and just move it up or down, because it literally does the same thing. It's easier to access. There's no alternate windows that pop up or open up to make that adjustment. And it's really, really easy. And I can visually see across the lane kind of what's happening here. Do I have any click tracks that are quieter or louder that could be problematic to us that are wearing ears? So this is, generally speaking, my preferred way of handling this, because then I can visually see across a line, hey, something's not right. And it's a good way to get a quick fix on making sure that the levels are good. So this is actually my preferred method to do this. Otherwise, what you would do is, I'll show you this. The other thing you would do is just basically come to the end here, and I would just do the exact same thing that I did above. So I'll start by clicking the click, hold Control, and I'm just going to run down the list, paying very careful attention to anything that is going to be like thrown into these loops or anything like that. And I'm just going to take them chronologically in order of how I like my layout to go. So this really, all I'm doing is just laying them out exactly the way that I would any other way. Let's see. It looks like all that's left is just BGVs. Okay. So I've got them all selected, and now I'm just going to come here and do the same thing. So you can see here, I just have to color code these now, and that's going to be all that I have to do now. So this way, the reason I don't prefer this as much is, one, you don't get as good of a visual representation if there's something that level-wise needs to be adjusted or changed. But the other thing is in the mix window, which this is how I handle most of our routing, you end up doing everything 3 times. So it's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's just a preference thing. If you like to have a physical fader that you deal with virtually in the DAW, then this is going to be the way you want to go. Also, visually up front, this is going to end up being a whole lot cleaner and potentially a little quicker to build. Not really, though. There's kind of like you eat time one way or the other, just doing different things. So I happen to know that there's a preference to this particular layout for one of my guys, so I always stick with this method, generally speaking, because it's really just easier for him, and it's really easy. He just really does prefer this. And as you can see, talking and doing this is not my forte. But, so anyways, here we go. We're going to continue to drag and create all these tracks and just get them in, get them all color-coded, and all that fun jazz. So here we go. Okay, so now we're going to do this all again for the very last song of the set. Pieces. That's the next song that we're going to be doing. So I'm going to go here to Pieces. Now, here is one of the other big reasons I like Studio One. So the original multi-tracks that we had here were M4As. Now, I don't know if you've been on a Mac, you may not be aware that this happens, but Ableton Live doesn't actually, M4As are not native to Ableton Live. So if you've been dragging M4As in and noticing a little bit of issues with tempo modulation, or it just seems like it snags up, it's because it's actually being converted to wave in the background processes on your Mac, as opposed to being like a wave file where it's actually native to the program itself. So it doesn't actually have to be converted, right? But Studio One is actually M4A compatible, so you can actually use M4A files in Studio One without having to worry about a problem. But in my case here, I've already taken the time with when we were using Ableton to do the conversion. So we'll go ahead and use the WAV files. So here we go. We're just going to go through just like normal. We're going to take them in chronological order of what we're looking for. So let's see here. Vocal effects. I don't know. I probably won't put that in with this time. Let's see here. All right. So we'll go with synth bass. There's no actual bass guitar track here. Cool. All right. No acoustic guitar. So we'll take electric guitars and then we'll run down the line with keys and piano. And then lastly, BGVs and effects. And so literally what we're going to do is we're just going to drag and drop these bad boys down here. And I need to scoot them over now so that they're more so just where I need them to be. Let's zoom in a little bit here so I can get them where I need them to be. All right, there we go. I'll let them overlap a little bit. And sometimes we do that because it's easier. So you can see now when I hold the space bar, I can move around. So now that's pretty much how we've done our layout with our tracks. So that's how we've got them in. And the last thing that we need to do is just color code these. And you'll notice that I didn't wait to color code all these at the end. I do that specifically on purpose because if I wait to the end, I have a bigger risk of getting the wrong track routed to the wrong thing. And I use my color coding pretty intensely so that I can be very, very accurate with my routing down the road. So anyways, that's everything for how to import tracks into your session. Our next video is going to be on getting our levels and routing taken care of. All right, here we go.